Magnus with Kingdom First Solutions, and this is a configuration overview for our custom forms module suite. This video is going to cover, at this time, our current version for our custom forms is 2020-09_1246, and we're just going to cover the basic anatomy or components of the forms elements, as well as the page and module structure. We're going to go into some level of detail of the structure, but there are some other configuration videos that will show some of the finer points and details of the module settings on some of these that you can watch to get more detail. So we're going to start off with talking about the anatomy or structure of the forms elements. So at the top of everything is what we call a form template. Form template is the object that allows you to put items to it. And items can be of various types. We have standard fields that pull information off of people's records. Person attributes, again, they're person attributes that connect to people's records. And custom fields, custom form fields, and so on. But the main idea here is that we have this concept of a template, and a template has template items. And these are the individual template items. They have different types, which we covered in another configuration video. Then once you have a form and template items built on that form, then the next object that is of importance is called the form itself. So a template is where we go to set up the items and the item types for that form template. And then a form is basically making use of a form template. So you can come in and create multiple forms, and they can even point to the same form template. So think of it as just making use of a form template and being able to give it a specific name and letting people fill it out. So you have form templates, which contain form template items, and then forms, which are using form templates to determine what the items are. And forms are what people actually fill it out. And when somebody fills out a form, it creates what's called a form instance, which is the element that carries all of the items that person fills out. So a form instance, for every time a particular person fills out a particular form, there's a form instance that gets created. And connected to that form instance are form instance item values, which those are the items that keep track of all of the elements that a person fills out. So it's not necessary that you fully understand all of those connections unless you're going to dig into some of the finer points or deal with it in the SQL database, but those are the things that you'll find in the tables for the actual pieces. So now let me talk about basic setup. Hopefully your installation of forms went ahead and built some pages out for you. If it did not, I'm going to go through those pages anyways and the basic setup of them so that you can either set yours up or verify your setup is using the latest recommended setup that we have as of this video. So we're going to go in and take a look at this page structure. This is the page structure that we recommend, and we're just going to jump right into it. So I'm going to just cheat a little bit here. We're going to jump on this page and go right into the pages area. So we like to have a KFS custom forms top level page up here, easy for you to find quickly. You of course can do whatever page structure you want. This is just an option and easy to talk to a standard. The elements that we need to have, you need a security management page. The reason for this is that we make use of Arena's security standards or security features to be able to secure forms really at the form template level. And to do that, we needed to add our form to the model, to the security model of Arena. And to do that, we had to come up with our own security management screen that allows a module actually that allows you to do that. And so that's what this guy is. So you should have a security management page that will have this KFS object permissions module. And the settings on it are pretty basic. You're going to point it to, you're going to pick object type, which when you install custom forms, the only object right now is custom forms. In the future, as if we add new entities that we want to be able to add security to, you may end up getting more object types in here, but for right now, custom forms is the only one. So you'll make sure you select object type of custom form and set it to the main pop-up page, person search single person page, and pop-up window equals true. And this is going to allow the key button of the form templates area when you want to go to secure a form template, which we'll talk about in the another configuration area video. You can come in here, and this is that module. So to allow us to assign the permissions to a custom form, that is what this page is all about. So configure it just like this. Then we have the completed forms module. The completed forms module allows you to see all of the forms that a person has filled out. So just have the page out there and the form instance list module, which another name for it, we call it the completed forms module. I'll go over this display in detail in another configuration video. But that's the completed forms module, so you can see what people have filled out and get a look at what that looks like. I can come in here and we'll see more in the implementation video of how to use this guide. So going back, we also have the email templates module. There are several places in Kingdom First Solutions tools where we use special email templates, custom ones that are KFS specific. Custom forms is one of those areas. So you'll need to have a place where you can create some custom forms specific email templates to use in some of the modules. So this is just throwing a page under our custom forms area that uses our custom KFS email templates. And for this, the main deal is you want to have it selected to KFS forms communication template types. And you'll see that we have a lot of different custom communication types that we allow you to create templates for some of our other applications. So this module is more universal than just custom forms, but you'll want to use an instance of it here. And then, of course, we need the form templates page. If you're creating this from scratch, I would recommend first creating the form templates page and leaving it blank, and then creating a child page for form template items so that you could come back and set it up. I will cover the setup and configuration of the form templates module in another video, but you can see you'll want a form template items page under your form templates page that uses the custom form template items, otherwise known as sometimes we call it our form builder. This is the module that actually presents all of those items. I'll go ahead and cover here since there's only a few things in it. This module, which is the actual form builder module that builds out, that's this module. So we have a couple of settings in here that allow us to determine which attribute groups to allow, and so as well as which custom field groups. And so these module settings and these selections influence what's available to your user who is building forms, who's actually building the forms, which attributes they have access to, and which custom field groups they have access to. So I don't control at the actual attribute level which attributes I want to allow them to expose. I control it at the attribute group level. So notice I have education and employment here, and we'll see that I have education, employment, member details, member path, check-in, attribute. So that list of selection there is what's driving what groups of attributes are available to drop over here. Same thing for the custom fields based on the groups that I've enabled here as well. And then preview page, you'll want to point to an instance of the form entry module, so that gives you the option to click on this preview form and you get to preview it. It comes into a special mode that it knows it's preview, and so it shows you form ID numbers and so forth. we'll go over more of detailed setup of this module, which is a form entry module, in another video. Okay, so that's once you have your form template items module in place on this child page, then you can come back to the form templates page and look at the main content. You'll want the form templates module, custom form templates module on this page. Pretty simple module settings. You'll again want to set it to you'll want to set the form entry page to point to a page with the form entry module on it as well, just like the module we looked at a moment ago, because this also has a preview option in it. And then the item list page, you'll want to point to the child page we created under here. That's why we went ahead and just created a shell, then created this guy so that we can come back and actually have a page to point this to. And then the security pop-up page needs to point to the security management page we set up here. And then that is all for the form template setup. And then forms, this will be the form list module or custom forms module. You'll see it's the custom form list. This enables you to set up the individual forms. It's a pretty basic module. It allows you to select the custom forms page, which these basically set up links. So if I come into, this is the module we're looking at, the forms page, these type qualifiers. So if I set the completed forms page to point to a completed forms module, that gives me the link as a title. And I can click on that link and it'll automatically take me to the completed forms page for that module and let me see any that are filled out for that form type, which I don't have any set up right now. The default category allows me to have notice there's a category filter at the top of the forms module. So the default category allows me to load the page with that category already set and filtered. Form template item list page is it needs to point to that form template items page we discussed a minute ago. And the purpose of it is so that I can actually click on, it makes a clickable link on the form template itself. So I can jump straight from the form to the form template by clicking on there, and it jumps me straight into that items page. So that's what that setting's for. And then the reports folder allows you to enable this. There's another column that can pop up here. I don't know that I can have that configured in my development environment, but let me give it a try. So if I come in here and go into my reports folder, the idea is it allows me to pick a reporting services folder that contains my forms specific reports, whether it's the reports that we've provided by default or reports that you may have added for yourself. Let me see here. I don't know that I have. I'm just going to pick one so that I can display it. And then you notice I turned on advanced settings. Some of the advanced settings is assignment type detail page, event detail page, and mission detail page. This is to allow the qualifiers. So when I have a form, and we'll talk about this in the implementation guide, when you create an implementation video, when you create a form, you have different types. They're created in different ways. You have assignment, standalone, event, family registration, and mission trip. Well, to get these links to be able to jump to the ones, so for assignments, we want to be able to jump to the assignment that it's connected to. For events, we want to be able to jump to the event it's connected to. And for mission trips, we want to be able to jump to the mission trip it's connected to. And arguments and assignments. So that is what these settings are for. So if they also have defaults built into them that will try to use the arena's defaults if you don't provide any values there. So that is what gives you these links to be able to jump straight from the form to the entity that it's tied to. In this case, it's a mission trip. So that is what those settings are for. And so now that I have that module setting set up, if I come back out and look at my forms again, refresh cache, I should now see another column show up called report. What that allows me to do, actually I will cover that in the implementation video for forms. But for purposes of this video, just know that if you want to allow people to attach specific reports from your reporting services to a form instance, which will allow the different places for you to print a form using that report, then this is you'll need to enable that setting by picking the report folder on your reporting services server. Okay, so now form template preview. This is the preview page I have set up that those other modules we're pointing at, and this has the form entry module. Again, we will cover this in more detail in the configuration guide, configuration video for custom form entry, and that is going to allow you to set up these set up the preview page that is accessed through both the form template list, and if I'm in an actual form template, the preview button. So we'll look at how to set that up later, but just know that you need the page set up here. You may or may not have this one visible. I like to have it visible because I find myself using this form template preview page as a quick and easy access to a form, because I can type in a form template ID directly and look at something if I know it, if I want to look at a form or a form ID. This is a very handy module and has multiple uses. So I like to expose my preview one so that I can click into it and have a quick way of accessing forms that I want to, but it's not necessary. And you may have seen that I had a page under here. Don't worry about that. That's just something in my development environment, and that covers the basic setup of forms. So this is really the primary function and layout of forms is this little structure here. You want to be able to create form templates. Form templates have that items page that you need to be able to set up the items. You have securities and all that good stuff in there. We'll talk about more in specific configuration video. And then in forms, you're able to go in and create forms using those templates. And there are different types of forms. We'll talk specifically about missions and events and assignments in their own separate videos on how to configure those and use those as desired. And then you want a form preview so that those guys you can preview the form as you're building it. Completed form shows you everybody who's filled out a form. And then we also have a My Forms module that is designed. Sorry, we skipped right over email templates. We looked at email templates. One other piece is on the person details page. We have a module called the My Forms module that allows you to do something like this, where I can create a Forms tab on the person details page, put that module on this page, and now I can see every form that person has filled out. I will cover this in another more detailed configuration video. So if you just watch through the forms configuration videos, I will cover the different ways of setting this module up and its usefulness. But I'm not going to go through showing you how hopefully by now you know how to create pages under the person details page and add that pages or pages as tabs module. So just know that this module is available to you and out there, and you can toss it on there. Okay, that covers it for this configuration overview. Again, you can see the other specific configuration videos to see how to do some of the more detailed setup.